Shabbat Shalom to all. Greetings to the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, the scattered nation of the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the scattered nation that has been scattered for over 2,000 years, scattered because of slavery and captivity as a result of the sins of our fathers. Greetings to you who are the bloodline of the chosen. Greetings also to those who are not of the bloodline of the chosen, but may either be descendants of Hamitic people or descendants of Japhetic people. Greetings to you who want the truth of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the Semites of the Most High and his son Messiah of the tribe of Judah. You may not be their bloodline, but you want to worship the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who is the only true God, the creator of heaven and earth. And his name is Yah, short for Yahweh. Yah exists. Greetings to you. Greetings to those who want nothing to do with organized religion and are tired, maybe even hurt by what their experiences have been in the hypocrisy of organized religion and want something better, want righteousness and truth to reign on the earth, would like to see an end of death and sin and pain and suffering and corruption. Greetings to you as well. We have been studying Daniel 11. And as usual, we have to go through many scriptures, different scriptures in the Bible to come back to Daniel 11 as a backdrop. And this is very important now because of where we are in the history of planet Earth. We are in a situation in planet Earth where it's getting worse by the day, not just because of COVID. It's not just COVID. COVID is bad. And it's killing, as we already knew, it's killing hundreds of thousands of people in the United States and millions worldwide. We know that. But corruption, pollution, both spiritual pollution, physical pollution, all you're going to get on this planet is little glimpses of what appears to be improvements. That's all it's ever been. Overall, it's worse. And as an example, the civil rights movement that started in the 1950s and went heavy in the 1960s, it appeared to bring improvements. It appeared to. And yet Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, and Breonna Taylor are dead. And they're just tip of the iceberg examples of what has been going on American streets during the whole time. And yet we have the right to vote. And yet with the right to vote, the districts have been gerrymandered so that our vote don't count. So that even though there appeared to be progress, there has been no progress. Things have not changed. Why? Because the original sin of the United States of America is bringing people from West Africa in chains to this nation. That's the original sin. Okay? It was founded, and let me even not disrespect my Indian brothers, because the original sin before that was coming to these shores and killing the Indians and taking their land. Okay? And as long as that's the case, this nation will never prosper. It only appeared to, because you can't make up for all the blood you have shed. You can't make up for hundreds of years of oppression. You can't. There's only one way for you, and that's the way outlined to the Laodiceans in Revelation chapter 3. Revelation chapter 3. The way outlined to the Laodiceans. And the symptoms of the Laodiceans are the symptoms of the leadership of the Babylonian system that we live in, that controls the Federal Reserve, controlling the money. The Democrats and Republicans fighting for power over all people and controlling power in the United States corruptly. The churches giving messages for you to give them your money and controlling your mind control. That's what's happening. That's where we are. Just the other day, before we read Revelation chapter 3, the Laodicean, I want to tell you something. I have 4 children, okay? And when I had these children, I was a Christian. I'm an Israelite now. I didn't realize then that I was born an Israelite, but I came to that knowledge in the last 10 years. But 30 years ago, 40 years ago, I was a Christian, worshiping white Jesus like many of y'all. But I was sincere, like many of you. I didn't know any better. Okay. And when I had children, I already knew this was a dangerous world in which we lived. I already knew that. And so my priority was the safety of my children. It was the safety of my children because it's a dangerous world. Even 40 years ago, kids were getting snatched. People were being molested 40 years ago and longer than that. It's going on a long time. And so I would move to areas, people who know me know, I would take my family and move hours outside of cities. And it would take me hours to drive to work. And I didn't care because when I left my children, I felt they were safe. I didn't even trust the school system. I didn't trust them. We lost 2 houses because I refused. My wife stayed home and took care of them kids because she agreed to do that. I asked her and she said yes. Because I was concerned with the safety of my children. Okay. That was my concern. And reason was twofold. Obviously, it was for their personal physical safety and well-being, but also I know myself. If some cat would have molested one of my children, I would kill them. And not just them, I would want to kill their family too. I'm not lying to you. I'm telling you how I felt. And knowing how I felt like that, I said, you know what? Let's avoid this situation. Let's avoid it. And so I decided I moved to places, hours, sometimes states. I lived in Connecticut and worked in Connecticut. And I put my kids in some 500 acres in New Hampshire to protect them. That's how I was. So when I walk through the streets now, when I moved into a place, I would check. I know y'all think I'm crazy. I'm just telling you how it was. I moved into a place. I checked the internet. How many registered sex offenders was in my area? I wanted to know. Okay. So even out of habit. And one time they tried to snatch once each, one trying to snatch one daughter, one time they tried to snatch another daughter. Okay. I had 2 daughters. At different times, there were sex slaves. People came to try to trap them. And I realized the game was wherever you are. Okay. So I walked through the neighborhood the other day and I seen little kids that I don't know and that don't know me walking up to me saying hi. Their parents don't even know where they are. Some of them look like they like 5 or 4 years old running through the neighborhood. And then somebody in the neighborhood on the neighborhood watch posted about a picture of a man, a homeless man that was talking to children. And then I warned them. I said, you know what? Y'all too careless with your children. I said, y'all too careless. I said, once one is snatched, that's it. They're gone. Okay. So one guy got mad at me and said, I'm posting fear. That I'm being irresponsible because I'm posting fear and it's not as dangerous as I say it is. And that's why I brought this up. We're in a dangerous time. And it's getting more dangerous. If you think you live in a peaceful place, it's a facade. Okay? The only safety we have is in the Father of heaven and with the angels that he dispatches through Messiah. That's our safety. Okay? That's our safety. And there are people that refuse to see it. And that's what's going on, brethren. Revelation chapter 3. Revelation 3, beginning at verse 14. Notice what it says. And unto the angel of the church of the Laodiceans write, these things saith the Amen, the faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of Yah. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou wert cold or hot. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. Because thou sayest, I am rich and increased with goods and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked. See, this is talking about the Israelite bloodline that's scattered among the other churches, the Christian churches, the Caucasian places, and those people that are scattered. That's the call, but it really describes the whole system right now. No matter what color, it describes the whole Babylonian system. And what you have is people that keep their heads. And I'm gonna tell you, I could say keep it in the sand, but I'm not feeling like that today. People that have their heads up in their anus because they don't want to know and they don't want to see. They have their heads firmly in their anus because they don't want to know, they don't want to see, they don't want to understand because they just want to hide it because they're used to living generations of a lie. generations. And brethren, right now, the Most High is only seeking those that are wanting truth. When you start hearing popping sounds of somebody's head coming up out of their anus for them to wake up and see what's going on. Okay, this is real. We're in a war. You want to know how serious this war is? Now, last night we talked in Daniel chapter 11. I showed you how the compromises that was taking place with those that forsake the covenant of Daniel 11, that represented Constantine and the establishment of what became the Catholic Church and Christianity. I told you and shared with you how in the book of Acts, they didn't call themselves Christians. Heathen that saw the followers of the Messiah that were Hebrew called them Christianos. That wasn't a name they gave themselves. And I showed you in Acts chapter 2, where there was a differentiation between the Israelite bloodline that received Messiah and the Israelite bloodline that did not. The ones that did, everybody to the heathen, they were all Jews, so-called Jews. Really what they were Israelites. Because Jews come from Judah, and that's why they use the southern kingdom of Judah as the example of all. But there were different tribes still represented. They were Israelites. And the ones that were followers of Messiah, they called them followers of the way. Because they were teaching people, they were teaching other Hebrews that you could not get to the Father anymore by killing a lamb. You could not get to the Father anymore by killing a goat. You had to go through the way, Messiah. Okay? And there was a division. There was a division. But to the heathen, they were all Christianos. Because the heathen have a heathen God that they call Christos. That's why you got Hare Krishna, the anointed. That's what they called it. But we didn't call ourselves that at that time. But the heathen did it, and over the course of centuries, the Israelites, that's why Peter, who we call Kapha, when he was writing to the Israelites, he said, be ashamed now if you're a thief or a busybody, but don't be ashamed if they call you a Christian. Why do you have to say that? Because it was an epithet. When you look up the word Christian in the Greek, the first thing it says, epithet for the followers of Messiah. Epithet. When you hear epithet today, especially if you're Black, you know what that is, right? Epithet, where they have today, they call them racial epithets, right? What's a racial epithet? Let me give you an example. Nigga. That's a racial epithet, right? In other words, it's a negative connotation of something. So when you look up the word Christian in the Greek, it says epithet. Because it wasn't a good word, not to the Israelites. So he said, don't be ashamed. Don't worry about that. Stand firm. Hold that negative connotation proud. Wear it as a badge of honor. That's what he's trying to tell them. He didn't say you should call each other Christian. So Constantine, being ignorant and a heathen, said, I'm going to become a Christian. But I'm going to keep my other gods too. And that's what he did. Constantine worshiped many gods. The God of the sun, the Venerabilis Dei Solis, the venerable God of the sun. He worshiped that one along, being a Christian. That's where you got modern Christianity from again. But most people in our day and age don't want to know. And you know what? Honestly, at first, when I first was receiving these messages from the Most High to teach them, I felt bad. I did. I felt bad for people that are rejecting this truth, because you're getting ready to catch what I'm going to read to you right now in the book of Numbers from Balaam, because we talked about Balaam. Okay, because that's what happened at the time of Constantine, a Balaam-like situation. So last night I told you to go read it, but I'm gonna look at it a little bit this morning for you, so we can look at it. Okay, but I'm gonna tell you something. I don't feel bad for y'all no more. I don't have time. I'm trying to tell you, ain't but 7 years left to the next Jubilee, and that's the last one before the kingdom's established. 2027. That's the last one. That's the 40th Jubilee. You Israelites know what 40 means. You know what 40 means. Okay, so it's coming soon. I ain't got time to worry about y'all that want to keep your head firmly up in your anus. That's your business. If you like it up there, if it's nice and warm up in there for you, you stay there. I ain't got time for you. This message is going out to people that want truth. It's going out to prepare people for what's coming. And what's coming is no joke. Brethren, we're in a war, man. We're in a war. This ain't no joke. So like I said, do what you do. I get all kinds of things. People say I'm crazy. People say I'm racist. I really don't care because I don't have time to care. I only have time to do what I'm told to do. And this is what I'm told to do. Okay? I'm not asking y'all for no money. I don't want your money. I'm not trying to get you in no church. I don't have no church. Not the way y'all think about it. Church, in the vernacular of the brainwashed era in which we live, church is a building of people that are following a denomination that has a cross on it that believes in white Jesus. That's church. That's not Bible church, though. That's not Bible church. In the Bible, the church is the body of Messiah that's built on Messiah from the tribe of Judah. That's the nation of Israel. That's the church. That's the great congregation David talked about, the nation of Israel. Okay, where the tribes go up. Praise the Most High. That's what it's about. We scattered right now. Okay, see, and I'm gonna tell you, this is the depth of the deception of our enemy, Asatan. So he has created this false paradigm called church, and everybody got that in their mind. When somebody tells you church, that's what you think about: stained glass windows with a white Jesus on it. That's what you think about. A building with a pew. That's what you think about. Somebody said, well, I went to church today. Everybody know exactly what you're talking about. A white Jesus worshiping Christian organization. Could be any denomination. You pick it. That's what you think of church because you've been brainwashed. When we go back to the word, that's not church. Okay? That's not church. That's paganism. Okay? So that's the deception. Also, the only ones that really do worship the way the Bible would have us do it, worship a different God. Who am I talking about? They do it the way you're supposed to do it, but they worshiping a different God. They're not worshiping white Jesus. They're worshiping a different God. Okay? Who is that? The Muslims. The Muslims, you don't see no crosses on their buildings when they go to worship. There's no pews in their place. There's a big empty room. And there's rugs for what? For them to kneel down and pray. And they have an imam that teaches them from a book that's not our book. See how the deception is? So Asatan creates a situation where he has a thing called church, and he got a whole bunch of people, hundreds of million people worshiping in that false system. Then he got another situation where they say they worship one God. They got no Messiah. They got no covenant. They never had a real prophet because there's no Arab prophets in the Bible. So now you got the whole system set up, but it's a false. It's worshiping a false God, and they're ready to kill you over. They're ready to kill you over. That shows you who they are. See, to the Israelites, when they killed, it's because you came in their land and you attacked them. That's where you start seeing them cut people's heads off in the Bible. We're gonna show you. They didn't come rushing out to nobody. You had to come start with them. And at the end, when you look at Revelation chapter 19 and 20, it's not like we chasing them in their land. They coming on our land. They coming up to Israel when we come and reclaim our land and kick all them fake Jews off of it and destroy them. And as we did in the past, we're going to do again. When Messiah comes, see, all you FBI and CIA listening to me, we waiting for Messiah to come. Y'all don't even believe in him. He's going to come. And he's going to come on a white horse. He's going to come with all kind of, he's going to come deep. And you're going to be running. It's going to be too late. Then you're going to try to recover yourself and come and take us off our land. That's when we're going to whip out the swords on you. That's when you're going to have a problem. Because we're not offensive. No, we defensive. But the Muslims, you talk about they Muhammad, they coming at you. They could be in your land. They coming at you. This is what happened in France just the other day. Man showed pictures, cartoon pictures of Muhammad. They cut his head off. The Muslims don't come from there, but they came there and did it anyway. That's the difference. We don't have to go killing people because they can say, listen, people have been offending our God for centuries. It ain't about that. He can defend himself. But when you come at his people, you're going to have a problem. Look at Numbers. Numbers. See, either you believe this word or you don't. That's the way I'm feeling about it. Either you believe it or you don't. You don't have to believe it. That's your business. But I believe this word. So this is what happened now. What? Numbers. Let's start at Numbers. Now, if you recall, when we read Revelation chapter 2 the other day, the church of Pergamos, notice what it was. Watch this. I'm just going to read it here, then we'll come back to that, okay? Numbers chapter 25, right? Now, Balaam was hired by the Moabite king Balak to curse the chosen people, okay? And he tried, but he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it because the Most High would not allow him to do it, okay? Right? And now look. Verse 25 of Numbers 24, the last verse of Numbers 24 says, and Balaam rose up and went and returned to his place. And Balak also went his way. So that's the last you see of him for a minute. Then chapter 25. Notice what happened in chapter 25. And Israel abode in Chittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. So the men of Israel began to have sex with the daughters of Moab. What was wrong with that? The daughters of Moab were worshiping other gods. That's what fornication is. Fornication is a woman that's having sex with more than one man, not at the same time, but she got other dudes. She's not committed to one man, and she worships a God that you don't serve. That's fornication. Okay? That's fornication. And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods. They invited them to church. And the people did eat and bow down to their gods. And Israel joined themselves to Baal Peor. And anger of Yahweh was kindled against Israel. And Yahweh said unto Moses, take all the heads of the people and hang them up before Yahweh against the sun, that the fierce anger of Yahweh may be turned from Israel. And Moses said unto the judges of Israel, slay ye every one his men that were joined to Baal Peor. This is a war. And behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman in the sight of Moses and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand and went after the man of Israel that went into the tent and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel. The Most High put a plague on them for worshiping Baal Peor. And this man brought this woman in his tent to have sex with her. And while he was having sex with her, Phinehas came. And that was the end of that. And those that died in the plague were 24,000. 24,000 people of the nation died of a plague because they were having sex and worshiping other gods. Worshiping other gods. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, have turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, while he was zealous for my sake among them, that I consume not the children of Israel in my jealousy. My jealousy, Most High jealous. Now look, we can't do this, what he did right now, because we're not in our land. See, this is not our land. We're in captivity. See, we're not going to do that. But when we get our land and the Most High Messiah come back, the Messiah come back and bring us to our land, and they come to try to do these things, they're going to have a problem. Okay? See, they worry about us now. They don't have to worry about us now. Soon, though. Because the Messiah is coming. He's not coming from Philadelphia, or he's not coming from Miami. He's not coming from Ecuador. He's coming from the third heaven. And when he comes, there's going to be problems. Notice again. Numbers chapter 31. See, y'all got to understand, we in our enemy's land right now. See, we don't have a king over us that's of the Israelites because we're in our enemy's land. People get this confused saying, if you vote, you're voting for somebody that's not your brethren. That's not, we're not in our land. We're not in our own country. We are captives. We're in Babylon. We're Daniel in Babylon. We Esther. We Esther in with the Midianites. With the Persians. That's who we are. We're not in our land. You got to look at Esther and Ruth. Esther and Daniel understand our current situation. That's where we at. We in our enemy's land. We behind enemy lines. But as we were in the land of Egypt, the Bible tells us we're going to be delivered just like that. So we are looking to be faithful to our God. Numbers chapter 31. I want to show you something. So you see what happened. 24,000 Israelites died as a result of getting with these Midianitish women and worshiping the gods of Baal Peor, right? Now look, Numbers chapter 31, verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, avenge the children of Israel of the Midianites, afterward thou shalt be gathered to thy people. So now they're on the borders. Moses is about to give them the book of Deuteronomy. Before he does that, one more task, Moses. I need you to take care of these Midianites. Avenge me. See, brethren, y'all think of white Jesus all flowery and soft and just love everybody. This is a black man that's a Hebrew from tribe of Judah. And he's going to avenge his people of all the heathen has done to them. And you heathen got choices. You can repent of your sins and the sins of your fathers and escape this wrath. You don't have to. But it's coming. Oh, it's coming. Look. Avenge the children of Israel of the Midianites, and afterward thou shalt be gathered to thy people. This is going to be, I'm going to give you a warning right now. I'm going to give you a warning. Explicit. This is explicit. I'm telling you right now, this is explicit. This is explicit. Okay? All right, this is explicit. Notice. And Moses spake unto the people, saying, arm some of yourselves unto the war, and let them go against the Midians and avenge Yahweh of Midian. Of every tribe, 1,000, throughout all the tribes of Israel shall ye send to the war. And there were delivered out of the thousands of Israel, 1,000 of every tribe, 12,000 armed for war. Now, wait a minute. How familiar does that sound for some of you? 12,000. Are not the 144,000 12,000 from each tribe? Are they not? And Moses sent them to the war, 1,000 of every tribe, them and Phinehas, the son of Eleazar the priest, to the war with holy instruments and trumpets to blow in his hand. And they warred against the Midianites, as Yahweh commanded Moses, and they slew all the males. They slew all the males. And they slew the kings of Midian beside the rest of them that were slain, namely Evi and Rechem and Zur and Hor and Reba, 5 kings of Midian. Balaam, also the son of Beor, they slew with the sword. And the children of Israel took all the women of Midian captives and their little ones, and took the spoil of all their cattle and all their flocks and all their goods, and they burnt all the cities wherein they dwelt, and all their goodly castles with fire. And they took all the spoil and all the prey, both men and of beasts. And they brought the captives and the prey and the spoil unto Moses and Eleazar the priest, unto the congregation of the children of Israel, unto the camp at the plains of Moab, which are by Jordan near Jericho. And Moses and Eleazar the priest and all the princes of the congregation went forth to meet them without the camp. And Moses was wroth. Why was Moses angry? Watch. And Moses was wroth with the officers of the host, with the captains over thousands and captains over hundreds, which came from the battle. And Moses said unto them, have ye saved all the women alive? They wanted them sisters for themselves, right? Them 5 million sisters that caused them to sin in the first place, right? Notice what Moses said. Behold, these caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam to commit trespass against Yahweh in the matter of Peor. And there was a plague among the congregation of Yahweh. So he said, these are the ones that Balaam counseled Balak to send to cause y'all to worship other gods. Why you saved them? Now therefore kill every male among the little ones. This is explicit. And kill every woman that hath known man by lying with him. But all the women children that have not known a man by lying with him, keep alive for yourselves. Okay? They want also to burn everything. The only thing that wasn't going to be burnt, notice verse 23. Everything that may abide the fire, ye shall make it go through the fire, it shall be clean. Nevertheless, it shall be purified with the water of separation. All that abideth not the fire, ye shall make go through the water. So that's the cleansing. This is a war. Okay? Look, brothers and sisters, they say, what about the children? Why he killed the children? Listen, man, there's a war. And parents make decisions that affect children. Y'all need to understand. Parents make decisions that affect children. It's very serious. Okay? And so when parents belong to Asatan, the decisions they make affect their children. When parents want to keep their heads up in their anus and want to act like they don't see or hear or know, those decisions affect their children. It's very serious. Like, you understand? And the day that these heathen that come against the city, in Revelation 19 and 20, in Ezekiel 38 and 39, there's going to be children killed. Yes. Children who are outside the city because of decisions their parents made. This is deadly, literally, serious. And that's why what you're going to see over these next few years, listen carefully, you're going to see children break away from their parents to follow the truth. You're going to see children break away from traditions of their families because the decisions of their families would affect them, and the Most High be calling them away to follow the truth. This is a war. Let me tell you something. Rome knows that. Rome will go into other countries. They call it a crusade when they go into other countries and they create havoc. Do you think the Rwandan situation with the Hutsis and the Tutsis was just between them? That was instigated by Rome. The man that started it escaped into Europe. They ain't mess with him either. It was created because right now, after that's all over, what's the number one religion in Rwanda right now? Roman Catholicism. That's how they evangelize. And they do the same thing through Islam. Islam is now trying to evangelize Nigeria. How are they doing it? Through Boko Haram, killing men, women, and children. That's how they do it. Talk about the Taliban and people like them. These are government controlled entities. You understand? These are government controlled entities. CIA, what you think they doing out there? Overthrowing governments, controlling assets of land and minerals and diamonds and oil. We're going to read that in Daniel 11. You understand? That's where we at. Now, again, my voice that the Most High is using right now is only for those that want the truth. I'm not concerned with y'all that doubt. I'm not. Do what you do. Keep it moving. You understand? This stuff is serious and it's too close. It's close. And I need y'all to understand something. Did not the Messiah say this? Did he not say the first shall be last and the last shall be first? Didn't he say that? So if you're on top right now and you got everything going on, you got the money, you got the power, you the first, which means your next position is the last. You know what they did, right? I like to bring this up because it kills me when they say you guys don't know how to run governments. You black people, you niggas don't know how to keep your neighborhoods. You redlined us into these neighborhoods. You set it up. Then you sent crack cocaine into the neighborhoods. We got witnesses of FBI agents and CIA agents that came out and said it. They sent crack. They created it in Central America and sent it to South Central. And they focus on South Central as if that's the only city. They did it to every major city. They redlined us into those areas. If you go to Philly, they got areas in Philly look like war zones. Why? Because the local governments ain't do. They leave it like that purposely to mess your head up. To mess your head up. So that you're depressed. Do you know the black man is constantly under PTSD? We live PTSD. That's how we grow up with PTSD. I'm riding down the street 12 years old. Some white girl whistles at me and I hear click. Nigga, shotgun. We live like that. You understand? And what is showing? What is showing? It's showing where the evil really comes from. Because you know what, brethren? Let me tell you the truth now. If they leave us alone, right? What happened when they leave us alone? When they really leave us alone, you get Rosewood. Okay? When you get Wilmington, North Carolina. You get Tulsa, Oklahoma. When they leave us alone, we prosper. We prosper. But they're afraid of that. So when they see us prospering, they will destroy that place. Why? They did not bring us over here in chains to make us equal with them. It did not. And if we were to get equal with them, they're afraid of what might happen. Because economics is economics. You any group of people and you put dollars in that neighborhood and you just leave them alone and just they're gonna prosper. It's gonna happen. You just leave it alone. But you put crack in there, okay? You hire, sellout preachers on every corner that's gonna steal their money. You put alcohol, you put liquor stores on every corner. You stop the city services so that garbage piles up. You let the schools go to crap. You understand? And over generations, what does it do to the people? Then you send police officers in there to kill them. What does that do to the people? So when they start talking about how we treat our neighborhoods and we destroy our own businesses, tell them this truth. You guys set it up like that. Set it up like that. And it's all good. It's all good. You know why? Because very shortly, these tables about to be turned. That's why, you know what? To us, it's really good news. Am I right? It's really good news. Because these tables about to be turned. Yah is getting ready to do what he do. We just seen it right here in Numbers. He getting ready to avenge his people. He getting ready to do what he do. Ain't no white Jesus saving us. Ain't no reverend saving us. Ain't no the Christian denomination saving us. The creator of heaven and earth, the sea and all that in them is, whose name is Yahweh. He's going to save us. And he's already awakening us. I didn't come to this truth because I'm smart. Hell no. I came to this truth because it's time. Because the Messiah, the Father through the Messiah told me it's time. Okay? It's time. And the awakening is not going to be stopped. It's not going to be stopped. They trying. Oh, they trying. They got people they're hiring to go kill people and calling themselves Hebrew Israelites, trying to set it up like that. They trying. Just like they tried to stop his word. They tried to stop his word. And they couldn't. When the Father decides something, brethren, there's nothing man can do to stop it. But the Father is righteous. So he's going to allow man the freedom of choice because he's righteous. He is the origin of righteousness. And Messiah is his representation of perfect righteousness. Therefore, he's going to allow the earth to make their choice. He will never force his way on anybody, unlike Islam, unlike Christianity. He's not going to force his way on you. No, he's not going to do that. He's going to give you evidence by his spirit that he is, that he exists. A higher, a shar, a higher. I exist, that I exist. He's going to give you that evidence. You got to decide what you're going to do, because he gives you the choice. Okay? He's not going to rape you. But when it's time to deliver his people, he's going to cut this mess short. The Bible says a short work he's going to make on the earth. He get ready to cut this mess short. And when it's time to deliver his people, it's going to get done. It's going to get done. See, like I said, we are so past money. I am. And I know I'm not the only one. Some of us, they still dangling that dollar in front of us, man. And they messing with us. They messing with us. Dollars can't save us. Look, again, think of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Just think of that. You also got Rosewood. You got other places in almost every state in the South where they leave us alone. They wanted us separate but equal. And we took that separate and we blew it up. We created stuff out of it. And they got scared. They got scared. That's why even when we was in chains and slavery, if we had too much crops growing, if the master let us have a little plot of land and we started growing stuff, what they do? They come with their guns and their white sheets to destroy the crops because they was afraid. They didn't want us to prosper at all. You think that's changed? No, it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. So they put out in front of you the possibility of the American dream, but all you get is the American nightmare. That's all you get. That's all you get. Okay? And I praise the Most High Yah for the promises of his word. I praise him for his spirit. I praise him for his truth. And I praise him for his righteousness. Brethren. Because that's what's going to win at the end. They can have the guns. They can have the tanks. They can have the heat-seeking devices. They can have the satellites. All good. When the Most High is ready. You know what? You remember what happened with Elisha, right? Elijah could step out of his house and the Syrians were coming because the Syrians had heard this prophet was a problem for us. Every time we get ready to kill some Israelite, he always telling them where we are and we don't even know him. We got to go get this dude. So they came. They came with an army for one man. Now look, we used to that. Israelites, do they ever come at us with just one? When there's one of us jogging down the street like Ahmed, how many of them killed that brother? Like 4 or 5, right? When they came at George Floyd, how many of them came in there? Like 3 or 4, right? When they came and shot up Breonna Taylor's house, how many of them busted in there? Like 4 or 5 of them, right? They never come by themselves, right? Because if there's one of us and 2 of them, they're in problems. So here, the Syrians were coming for Elisha. They were coming for Elisha, right? And they brought an army, right? And Elisha had a servant. And the servant looked and saw the army coming. And he said, Master, Father, they're coming for you. Elisha was cool as a cucumber. You see, being cool. We always say that, right? Y'all know, right? Y'all heard this. Yo, just be cool, right? You know what it means, right? When you say be cool, that's what meekness is. See, meekness means be cool. That's all that meekness is. It's not weakness. Meekness means be cool. My man was meek. He was staying cool. And the servant didn't understand, why are you so cool? They coming with an army for you, man. He got on his knees. He said, Most High Yahweh, open this man's eyes. And the Most High opened the servant's eyes. And there were mountains surrounding the house. And here come the armies through the mountains coming there to get him. And in the mountains were angels with swords and chariots of fire, waiting to cut the heads off that whole army. Elisha, being an Israelite and being naturally merciful, said, don't kill him. Smite him with blindness. And they were all blind. Then he led them to the king blind. King said, should I kill him? He said, no, man, give him some food, send them on their way. Why did he do that? Not only was he merciful, he was letting them know the God we serve can destroy y'all in a moment if we want him to. But we're going to let y'all have a chance this time. Go back on your way. Okay, go back. Don't come back again. And they didn't. They didn't. You understand? Because human beings can be merciful unless they have power. Then they start acting a fool. Okay? Or they want power or money, then they start acting a fool. That's what I'm saying. Don't let them dangle this shiny objects in front of you, brethren. Look to your God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's where you come from. If you are Ados, you come off them slave ships, your family was in chains, you are an Israelite. You're not a Christian. You're not an American. You're not a Jamaican. You're not a Haitian. You're not a Dominican or a Puerto Rican or a Cuban. Or you're not that. You're an Israelite. And we have been hidden for centuries. But the awakening is telling us who we are. Now we have a better understanding of who we are than any people on planet Earth. No need for us to be searching for other people's cultures because we don't have one, like some orphan. No, we know who we are. We know who we are. And they're scared of that. That's why they're going to fight like hell to try to make you believe you not. This word, this Bible that they try to beat us over the head with white Jesus. This very book tells us we are who we are. Okay? Just trying to tell you the truth now. Okay. So now you know who Balaam is, right? The sellout, right? Let's look at it again. In Revelation, it's mentioned again. Now you know where that comes from, right? Because we just looked at numbers, right? So now you go to Balaam in Revelation chapter 2, Church of Pergamos. Okay, Church of Pergamos. And this is representing Constantine, because Balaam is the sellouts from among the Israelites, the sellouts from among the people of the way that took Balaam, that took the money and the influence that was offered them from the heathen in order to benefit themselves at the expense of the truth and the expense of their people. Okay, so let's take a look. Verse 13 of Revelation chapter 2. Well, let's start at verse 12. And to the angel of the church of Pergamos, right? These things said he which hath the sharp sword with two edges. I know thy works and where thou dwellest, even where Satan's seat is, and thou holdest fast my name, and hast not denied my faith, even in those days wherein Antipas, my faithful martyr, was slain among you, where Satan dwelleth. Now we're talking about Rome. Antipas means against father, not against the Holy Father, against the fake father of the Christian church. Okay, Antipas. Okay, it means against father. People that were standing up for the truth against the rise of the Christianity. Now, they don't show you this in the history books. But then people in Europe initially that came from Portugal, came from Spain, and came from Italy were black people. And they were being banished from those areas. And some of the only ones that were permitted to stay and rule were called Moors. Okay. But the people that were Israelites, that were really people of color, they banished them or killed them. If you see books, they'll paint Caucasian people. But in the beginning, when Constantine and them was trying to enforce Christianity, it was black people that were catching it. Okay, that were in Spain, in Portugal, and in Italy. Okay, and then later, with the establishment of the Catholic Church, we're going to talk about the establishment of the institution of the church. Then you had Caucasian people, because that's all that was left there. We had already been gone, scattered, killed, and now we're in Africa mostly. And then that's when they sent Muhammad with Islam. Okay. That's why in the movie Roots, you get Kunta Kinte talking about Allah the Merciful, because they were Islamic Israelites, because that's how we were enslaved. Trans-Saharan slave trade, also this, the Atlantic slave trade, had us coming and going because it's part of the curse. Okay, part of the curse. But we praise y'all. We're at the end right now. This is it, brethren. We're at the end of it right now. But in Revelation, it says, but I have a few things, verse 14, I have a few things against thee, because thou's them there that hold the doctrine of Balaam. See, he mentioned Balaam, who taught Balak to cast a stumbling block before the children of Israel, to eat things sacrificed to idols and to commit fornication. See? So that's the compromise with Constantine. Okay, now, Daniel chapter 11. Daniel chapter 11. See, brothers and sisters, and that's why, when people keep their head up in their anus, one of the things you have to ignore is history. You have to ignore history. And it's kind of silly, actually, because everything that exists right now is a product of history. Nothing that you see right now is not a product of history. All of us are in some way a product of our history and the history of our fathers. That's who we are. Okay. For example, I think we can all agree, right? All have sinned, correct? Well, where does sin come from? Our father Adam. We're a product of the history. Adam sinned, and he was the original father, right? Right? So he's the original son of Yah. Adam didn't come out of nobody's womb. He's the son of Yah, and he sinned. And that sin, we are a product of that history. Now, later on, you had 3 sons of Noah: Shem, Ham, Japheth. And out of Shem had several sons. Now, don't get it twisted. Arabs come from Shem. But Arabs did not come from Abraham. They did not come from Isaac. And they did not come from Jacob. And all of Yah's prophets in these last days are from those chosen people. And all of us are of that history. Like for example, in the slaves, when they were in the quarters, they called it the quarters, right? In the slave quarters, when they get ready to have a celebration, they dancing, and the Caucasian people look at them and hear the music and see them dancing, and they be jealous of their own slaves. And they call us happy but you know what? If you go to Africa, you go into the woods of Africa, they do the same thing. And where do we get that from? It goes all the way back to the feasts. We used to celebrate. See, that's what a feast was about, brethren. A feast was a party, man. You get ready to feast. Especially in that Feast of Tabernacles at the end of the year. That was the big one. The Bible says you bring out your wine, your strong drink, you bring out your flesh. You go ahead, but you do it with your brethren in Jerusalem. That was a party. That was a feast right there. That's where it all comes from. It didn't come from no voodoo. That voodoo is what got us in the problem. Okay. But it's history. It's history. It's in our blood. It comes back from history. Okay. Because history is what makes us what we are. So you look at today, everything you see right now is a product of stuff that has already happened. Sometimes it happened a couple of generations ago. Sometimes, as I said, it happened thousands of years ago. But it's history. Okay, so you got to ignore history to ignore this truth. Got to ignore history. But history is how we got here. And we praise Yah because of his righteousness. He has an accurate account of history. You're not going to be able to deny it when he brings it before you. You're not going to be able to deny it. Nobody is. When he pulls open the history books, the Bible says the book was open. And another book was open called the Book of Life. And the dead were judged out of those things that were written in the books according to their works. Nobody's going to be able to deny the history. It's going to be there. Okay? It's going to be there. And all of us are products of our history. Okay? You got to ignore that in order to keep your head up in your anus. Now look, Daniel chapter 11. Daniel chapter 11. We talked about Balaam. We talked about Constantine, right? Let's go to verse 31. Starting at verse where we started last night, verse 31. An arm shall stand on his part, that is Constantine, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, that is the Israelite people, and shall take away the daily sacrifice. That's us. That's what that represents. That's represent us. And they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate. See, now, as Israelites who are followers of the way, okay, of Messiah, who is the way to the Father. Ultimately, Messiah taught us. He said what? Pray to your Father. Even when he taught his disciples to pray, he said, our Father, which art in heaven, correct? And he said, when you go, he said, go to your closet and pray to your Father, which is in secret. So he wants you to pray to the Father. People don't understand. Messiah is the way to the Father. How I got to the Father was through Messiah. I was in the Christian church and I started to understand they taking too much emphasis on everything but Messiah. I thought Messiah was it. Messiah is everything. And so I decided at that time, I was convicted that if it has to be Christ alone, not Christ in some Christian denomination, not Christ in Ella White, not Christ in Joseph Smith, not Christ in the Watchtower, Christ alone, in the Bible alone. And then, boy, I came to Messiah, and Messiah said, young brother, let me introduce you to your Father. That's right. And that's when I met the Father. He was a mystery to me before. Then he not became a mystery anymore. I'm not saying I know him like I should, but boy, Messiah introduced me to the Father. And that's what he does. He said, he is the way to the Father. So people that try to deny Messiah, or even there are brethren that went out there to Demona out there in the Middle East, talking about the Israelites, and they were calling that man out there, he calling him Messiah. That's really, I can't even say disrespectful. It's worse than that. To call a man Messiah. Come on now. Stop it. We so used to idolatry. You see what I'm saying? No, there's but one Messiah, the Son of the Father, and he's now in the most holy place. He's just working there, his last work to get this 144,000 thing ready. That's all. When him step out of there, it's over. And so I'm telling you, that's the Messiah. There ain't no other Messiah. There's but one. He's the only sinless one that is representative of the Father's right. In fact, his title, the Bible says his name's going to be called Yahweh Saddam. That is the Lord, our righteousness. Yahweh Saddam. Okay, so that's Messiah. There's no other. Nowadays, you got people trying to make churches into Messiah. People trying to make man into Messiah. Talking about Holy Father. Talking about Reverend. Stop it. When you wake up, you realize how stupid this is. These reverends, these holy fathers be raping little boys and raping girls and having sex with them and taking their money. Come on now, wake up. Just today, my wife and I were looking. They had these 3 nuns that were bearing witness as to how they were repeatedly raped by the priests and had forced abortions while they were in the Vatican. And you say, I thought, my wife and I were curious, why would the Vatican, because they control the media through the Ashkenazi. So it's like, why would they allow that to come on TV? Why would they allow that? Then when we looked at it, we understood. Why did they allow it? Because they were trying to put up this here Pope, this Jesuit man that comes out of the Jesuit order. This Pope is the first Pope to come out of the Jesuit order. That's why he's probably the last one we're going to see. He say, well, the church is doing something about this. They're making this man, that's the Pope, into a savior of nuns that were raped by the church. My wife said, well, maybe they're getting better with the pedophilia. I said, no, they're just showing you this page. They can show you a whole nother page with a whole nother volumes of pedophiles. The Most High allows this to expose it to us for us to see what the story is. And if you think it's only the Catholic Church, get your head out up under that anus now. Ain't no church out. They've been talking about pedophile in the Jehovah's Witnesses denomination for decades. That's been going on a long time. They have had to remove several of their people. Not talking about rape. We're talking about little kids. And they ain't the only ones either. They got whole homosexual churches in the SDA church. They got men that dress as women that they have as elders in the SDA church. All right? Brothers and sisters, the Most High is allowing it because Messiah say there's nothing that's hidden that's not going to be revealed. He's letting us see this. And we have to decide what we're going to do. Okay. This is not about a denomination. It's about a nation. The only way we're going to be unified is if, as individuals, we decide to follow the Father. That's the only way we're going to be unified. Because the followers of the Father will know each other as brethren because of the Father's Spirit. I've met people that I met the first time. We connect like this because both of us are connected to the same Father. You see, it's like when you brothers and sisters, right? What makes you a brother of a sister of a human being? You guys have either the same mother or the same father or the same parents, right? But right, so either you have like I got a brother that me and my brother share my father. He got different mothers, but we the same father. Then I got another brother. We share both the father and the mother, right? So that makes us by blood brothers. And let me tell you something that drives me crazy, man. This whole talk about half. Let me tell you something. Ain't no such thing as half. Let me tell you why. There's no such thing as half. When you get the blood of a Hebrew, you're a Hebrew. Ain't no half. You know who created half? The Caucasian people created half. You know why? Because it's so, the skin color is so important. They want to make sure that that's on top. So if you half that, you halfway to them. That's where half came from. But the truth about it is the black gene is the dominant gene. The Caucasian one is recessive. That's scientific fact. It's recessive. If left to itself, it would cease to exist eventually. It's recessive. Okay. The one that's the original one is the one that they call black, because that's what Adam was. And that one will continue, and it can bring forth any color. A black woman can bring forth any color. Any color could come out of her. A white, a red, a brown, a black, anything could come out of her. But out of two Caucasian people, ain't but one thing coming out. One thing coming out. That's a Caucasian. That's recessive. Okay? That's fact. That's fact. You understand? So, brothers and sisters, history will make us who we are. Don't deny history. For good or for bad. Because all of us got good and bad history. As individuals, as extensions of families, as generations, all of us got good and bad histories. Don't keep your head up in your anus. Go with the truth of righteousness and you'll be fine. Okay? Fine, okay? Deny the truth of righteousness, try to act like it doesn't exist, and you're going to have a problem. That's his bottom line. And we ain't got time for nothing less. Daniel chapter 11. Verse 31, an arm shall stand on his part, that's Constantine, and they shall pollute the sanctuary strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and shall place the abomination that maketh desolate. That is Christianity. That is Roman Catholicism. That is the abomination or the false religion that causes ruin. Verse 32, and such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries. Those are the sellouts of Balaam. But the people that do know their Most High shall be strong and do exploits. That means they're going to be strong in the spirit of the Father. That's history. Okay, that's Constantine. Now let's move on. Past Constantine now. This is to the fourth church, Thyatira, Revelation chapter 2. Now when they shall fall, they shall be hoping with a little hope, but many shall cleave to them by flatteries, with flatteries, and some of them of understanding shall fall, and to try them, and to purge, and to make them white, even to the time of the end, because it is yet for a time appointed. And the king, now he's talking about the Catholic Church, and the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself. This is now your Pope. This is now 508 AD. This is now when Justinian said, no, when Clovis, the French king, said that the Roman pontiff is the corrector of all heretics, establishing the authority of the institution of the Roman Catholic Church, from which you get modern Christianity. Verse 36. And magnify himself above every God, and shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished, for that is determined shall be done. Not verse 37. Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor the desire of women. Is it not true that the Pope doesn't marry anybody? That don't mean they don't have children. No, that anybody knows about. As a matter of fact, we also know that Cesar Borgia the man that they use as the picture of the white Jesus everywhere, is the illegitimate son of Pope Borgia. Okay. And this illegitimate son was bisexual, had sex with the man that painted his picture, had sex with his own sister. There is no depth to sin on planet Earth. It can go as low as you can imagine. And so the man, everybody has on all these, all of these, like, and I was in the SDA church, all these pictures and the Desire of Ages and all these pictures of white Jesus praying. That's Cesar Borgia, the bisexual. Y'all know that? That's Cesar Borgia, the bisexual, that has sex with the man that painted his picture and has sex with his sister. That's the one. The illegitimate son of Cesar Borgia, the Pope. Wake up, y'all. Okay? He shall not have the God of his fathers, nor the desire one, nor shall he regard any God, but for he shall magnify himself above all. Don't they call him Holy Father? Do they not call him Holy Father? Am I making that up? Or do they say that? Do they say Holy Father? Think of it, right? I'm not making that up. They call him Holy Father. Now let me ask you. If there's a God in heaven who said to his people, thou shalt have no other gods before me. That's the first thing he said. I am the one that brought you out of the land of Egypt and out of the house of slavery. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is even in heaven or on earth or under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them nor serve them. Why? Because I am a jealous God. Well, how do you think our jealous God would feel you addressing somebody as Holy Father? How would he feel about that? You addressing somebody as Holy Father. How would he feel when he says, I made man, I made Adam in my image. I made the woman in the image of Adam. That's what he said now. He made the woman in the man's image, and he made the man in his own image. Woman was not made in the image of the Most High. Woman was made in the image of the man. How would he feel when you're being led by a woman and saying, you got to worship the Mother Mary? How would he feel about that? This is a jealous God, right? You think he'd be happy about that? Brethren, it's it's crazy. When you start to know the truth, you see how crazy everything is, how backwards, how upside down it is when you see the truth. Again, we all have the power of choice. We can choose to follow the truth, or we can choose to keep our head in sin. That's our business. This word is for those that even if their head's up in the warm, moist place, they can hear. And they say, wait a minute, let me pop up out of here and get to the truth now. Okay? Okay? You all have the choice. That's why no person on planet Earth at this time and going forward is going to be able to plead ignorance. The people that are ignorant, that belong to the Most High, he's allowing them to die to save them. The Bible shows us that in both Isaiah and Revelation. It shows us that. Putting them to sleep to save them. People that he's doing that to. But those that are alive will have no excuse. It's not that you need to have a thorough understanding of this word the way I'm pushing it to you right now, but you do got a conscience. You do have one. The Spirit of the Most High will bring it to you. And your spirit will be able to tell you if this is true or not. Spirit will tell you. And it's up to you. Most people don't follow truth, not because they don't understand it, because they don't want to. Because it's inconvenient. Because it's not popular. Brethren, one thing you ought to know straight up, truth is not popular. It's not popular in the media. It's not popular in politics. It's not popular in the movies. It's not popular at all. Okay, it's not. Daniel chapter 11, verse 38. Very important here. In his estate shall he honor the God of forces. A God whom his fathers knew not shall he honor with gold and silver and precious stones and pleasant things. Now, who is that? The God that the Pope honors, the God that is honored. We're talking about the devil, but who does he give the money to? Where does the money go? Notice again, Revelation chapter 17. It kind of tells you there. It's kind of hidden in plain sight. But Revelation chapter 17, verse 1. And there came one of the seven angels, which had seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither. I will show thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. Watch this. And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast, having full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Watch verse 4. And the woman, watch what they said in Daniel 11 compared to verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. She was decked out with rich stuff. Daniel chapter 11. But in his estate he shall honor the God of forces. A God whom his fathers knew not shall he honor with gold and silver and precious stones and pleasant things. Who is that? Who is that woman? It's the institution of the church. It's the institution of the church. It's the Christian church. That's the God his fathers knew not. Why does it say that? Because they come from paganism, right? So in paganism, they had, like, for example, the Philistines had Dagon, the fish god, because they lived near the ocean. The Philistines are what now where the Palestinians are. In fact, Palestine really means Philistine. That's the original word for Palestine is Philistine. And they lived near the water, and they were fishermen. So they would worship the fish. Dagon was the fish god, the god of fish. Okay, so that was their god. And then you had Chemosh. And you had other gods, Baal Peor. We just read about Baal Peor among the Moabites. So you had different gods. Now in Egypt, it was Ra, the sun god, among other gods. They had Isis, Horus, and Cyrus. And then they had Ra, the sun god, right? So they had different gods. But in this institution, they take all of them and they put them together. In this institution, you got the sun god, you got Dagon, right? You got Baal, right? You got all of them together in the Christian church. And that's why they tell you the Father's God and Jesus is God and the Spirit is God. Didn't they tell you that? They tell you it's 3 in 1, Trinity, Father, Son, and Spirit. That's multiple gods. Whereas fathers say, ain't but one God. So the Christians used to try to say, when I was in church, well, they're one, like there's 5 fingers and there's one hand, that's one God. No. I'm sorry. There's only one God. His name is Yahweh. And he has a son, that's Messiah, who worships him. Messiah said, that's my God. He called Father my God and your God, what he told him, right? The Spirit is the Spirit of the Father. So when he say, baptize in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, what does that mean? You're baptized in the name of the Father through Messiah, because Messiah is the way to the Father, and you're called into that baptism by the Father's Spirit. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? The Father's Spirit will call you to Messiah. Messiah introduced you to your Father. So you're being baptized in the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, and by the Father's Spirit. You understand? It's not 3 gods. It's only one God. But it's a process by which you came to him. You came to him. He called you by his Spirit to his Son. His Son steps in and speaks for you to the Father, because no man comes into the Father except through him. And the Father receives you because you answered his Spirit and you came through his Son. You're accepted. You understand? They got all these different gods, but they ain't but one God. Not to, for the Israelite. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. He didn't say before us. He didn't say that. He didn't say they shall have no other gods before us. He said before me. Yahweh. Yah exists. Yahweh Shai, his son, Yah exists to save. For he shall save his people from their sins. Praise the Most High Yah. Okay, so now we understand the institution of the church, where it came from. This is the institution of Christianity, which is now they got you brainwashed. All they got to do is say, how come you didn't come to church? And you know exactly what they mean. When you're coming back to church, you know exactly what they mean. That's you brainwashed. Oh, I got to go back to white Jesus, the Christian church, the building, the pastor, the denomination, the conference. That's the church. And it doesn't matter which branch of the Horus denomination, if you are a Jehovah's Witness, when you're coming back to the Watchtower, when you're coming back to the Kingdom Hall, it's the same thing. When you're Mormon, when you're coming back to the Church of Latter-day Saints of Jesus Christ, when you're SDA, when you're coming back to the Remnant Church, when you're coming back to the Remnant, here's an Ellen White. You remember what Sister White said? You remember what Sister White said, don't you? Brainwashing on all levels. Brainwashing on all levels. And again, I'm not smart. It's not because I'm smart that I know these things. It's because it's time. It's the awakening. And it shall come to pass when all these things that come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations where the Yahweh has scattered thee, and shalt return unto Yahweh thy Most High, and shalt obey his voice with all thy heart, with all thy soul, thou and thy children, that then Yahweh thy God will return thy captivity. Return thy captivity. Brethren, it's time. It's time, and we are so excited. Yes, some of us, I might be killed. I might not make it. I might be killed. I'm not worried about that. Because we serve a God, brethren, that can call particles of dust from a million different places and bring me back. Oh, Elijah stood out, or Ezekiel stood out there. Oh, Ezekiel stood out there in a valley full of dead bones. And the Most High said, can these bones live? Can these bones live? He said, I tell you what. He said, prophesy to the bones, prophet. The homie started prophesying to the bones. The Bible says a wind blow. That's the Father's spirit, brother. The wind started blowing and them bones came together and became, the Bible says, an exceeding great army. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about being by yourself. When you see the wind blow, you just think of your Father's spirit, because you see it blow, because it's going to come. Don't worry about it. He's watching. He's watching. Brethren, from 1844, Father's been ready. He's been ready. He's just now putting all his attention and time into the 144,000. He's not paying attention to 9/11. He's not paying attention to this daggone presidential election. He's not worried about that. That's man getting everybody focused on conservatives and liberals. Come on, man. He's paying attention to them 144,000. He's getting ready to get them up and ready to run. And they run, they will. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. It's about to come off. There's not much time left. Ain't that much time left. And nothing is going to stop it. That's what I'm saying to you. The Father's will is going to be done. Nothing can stop it. The only question is who's going to be on. You remember when the Midianites came, who's on Yahweh's side? He said, who's on Yahweh's side? When Moses came down from the mountain with the two tables of covenant in their hand, they was out there having orgies and worshiping the golden calf. He said, who's on Yahweh's side? And the ones on Yahweh's side left them other people and came. Okay, so that's the call right now. Who's on Yahweh's side? That's all, because they're not going to stop what's going to come. You can't stop it. Can you stop the sun from rising or setting? Can you stop the seasons from changing? Can you stop the stars from shining? Then maybe you can stop what Yahweh's word is coming, because you can't stop it. It's coming. The only question is who's on Yahweh's side. That's what he gonna know. That's what he want to know. And again, I want to stress, I don't care where you're born. I don't care if you're born in Ireland. I don't care if you're born in Mississippi. I don't care if you're born in Australia. That don't matter whose side you on. That's all that matters. Who's on your Howard side? And he's going to use the 144,000 to make that call loud and clear. Come out of her, my people. Come out of her, because it's getting ready to be done. The plague's getting ready to fall. Come out. Nothing's going to stop it. There's nothing that can stop it. It's going to come. Okay? And that's the thing. Most High is going to make it look like it's not going to come. He's trying to tell you right now. You got to see it through the word in order to really see it. By the spirit and by the word is how we see it. When you look out here, you know, the government got all the power. Federal Reserve got all the money, right? You can see it. You can obviously see it. Caucasian people rule the so-called civilized nations, correct? It's Caucasian people rule it. You can see it. You know, now they try to act like they losing, but they just scared. That's just white fear. And we already talked about white fear, but they ruling everything. They got the nuclear bombs. You don't see no African country that got a nuclear bomb. You think that's accidental? You think that's by accident? What, you think they don't have no engineers that could create that stuff? Please. They know what they're doing. But it only looks that way. The Most High always makes it look bad for us. Gideon only had 300. And they won. Okay? Gideon only had 300. And they won. There was only Noah and his 7 that got on board that ark. Only those 8 people. The rest of the world was destroyed. So it's always going to look like we're going to lose. It's always going to look like we are the less ones. Always going to look like that. But that's why I say, please focus on the spirit of your Father and his word. Nothing's going to stop it. Nothing. Can't be stopped. Okay. I just pray that I be faithful, and I pray that you be faithful. You know what I'm saying? We want to make sure we stay faithful, because that's the temptation to leave the Father for something that you see that looks like it's going to win. That's where you get, you get sellouts and coons. Sellouts and coons join with our enemies because they think that's the winning side. That's why they sellouts and coons. That's why you get Balaam. Balaam was a coon sellout. That's what he was. Because he thought, I'm going to go with the money. You understand? I'm going to go with the money. But when you, by the Father, Spirit, and his word, you can look past the money. You look past the power. You're looking eternally. You're looking way above this earth. You're looking eternally. And there's an eternal creator. He's going to win. He's going to win. Okay? That's it. Now, if you believe that or you don't, that's up to you. That's the choice, right? Okay. That's the choice. So I pray that you make the right choice. And I pray that I stay faithful in the right choice. I done made my choice, but I want to stay faithful in it, because I ain't going to front and say, well, I can never fall. That'd be a lie. I could always choose to do something stupid. So pray for me that I don't do that. And I'll be praying for you the same, right? That we all follow the truth of righteousness of the Most High, Yah. That we daily choose truth. That we daily choose it. Okay? May the Most High bless you. We'll come back here. It is now 12:30. I'm going to start at 1:05. Another Bible study starting here in Daniel 11 like we did today, going forward into Daniel chapter 12. It's going to be an important thing because we're dealing with what we're talking about right now. We're getting ready to see what's happening, and we're getting ready to move forward. But may the Most High bless you. If you can't come back and you see it on a replay or whatever, the Most High bless you and keep you. Make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Most High lift up his beautiful countenance of light upon you and give you peace. Shalom.